So good morning to all of you. So now we are here with the lecture number 11 of your this subject software engineering in this semester. So last time also we completed many little topics, small topics like maintenance and quality, all the things. Uh, Reverse engineering, then the re-engineering. So all the topics were done in the last time also in the last lecture. So this lecture also there are many different topics that we are going to cover. So what we are going to cover today is first of all is SCM. So it is a software configuration management. So we will see what is software configuration management, and it is very important aspect of your software design process. So how to configure your software, what are the different issues those are dealt here, what are the different items which are taken into concern into the SCM, that is the software configuration management. So it is also one of the important aspect of the whole development phase of your life cycle phase of your software model. So it is one of the aspects so that we will cover today, that is known as the software configuration management. Then we will study some case tools, that is computer aided software engineering tools. So we will do with the case tools. So how these computer aided software engineering tools are available. They help you to manage your software at the different levels, at the different stages. So different tools are available. So we make use of those tools and we manage our software. That is computer aided software engineering tools. So they play an important role in nowadays because the size of the software is very much high, very large size, and to take into account the different aspects of the software. So some automated things are available, that is the tools are available. These tools comes to aid the proper management of your software when it is delivered to the customer itself also. So that we will also go with the RMMM. So it is risk mitigation, monitoring, and the management. As our life is always in a risk, same is the case with each and every product we deal in our life. Same is the case with the software. So during the software life cycle, software also observes different types of risk. So how to deal with those risks, we will see what are the different risks, what are the different risks that are faced by the software through its life cycle. So we have to see all those types of risk. The main thing is not the risk we have to see, but also we have to see how we have to handle those risks, whether we could avoid this risk, that is the mitigate, that is the avoidance. Otherwise we have to monitor it, that when the risk comes on or risk should not comes on. And if well, our first case is that we should let me enter the student those who have joined late. So after case tools, we will do in the RMM, that is risk mitigation, monitoring, and management. The first thing what we should do is we should first of all make such a thing, such a scenario that we should avoid the risk. Risk should not come at all. We should avoid the risk in your software product. But if there are certain things that risk may creep in, then we have to monitor it also. We have to monitor the different types of risks. And once risk come or creep in and we monitor it, we detect that particular risk, then we have to manage that particular risk. So this is the important aspect or the important concept of any software product, that is risk mitigation, monitoring, and the management. Very important concept. So today's lecture will contain different small topics. So first we start with the SEM, then the case tools, then the RMM, and in the last we will also do reuse. So how your different components of the software can be reused? We have to see what is the reusability features available or present in your software product. What are the items? What are the different, you can say, modules? What are the different components that can be reused? So reusability is one of the important factor of today's software product. So if your software has different components or different, you can say, modules that can be reused in the coming softwares of that particular company, in the coming products of that particular company, that it is regarded very helpful. So this is the important feature that the software should possess. That is, the software product should possess that many components of a present software should be reused in a coming products. So in simple, whatever the programming you were doing earlier, so you were making the different types of functions. So those functions you are calling again and again in the different programs. There the inbuilt functions are there or user defined functions are there. So within a program, you're calling those functions again and again. So this is an example of a reusability. Similarly is the case here. We are talking about not the single program, but we are talking about the product. So there should be some components in the product that can be reused in the upcoming product. So here the software components are there, software modules are there, just has to be reused. So those who have joined late, so these are the topics that we will be covering today. So here is the first is the SCM, that is the software configuration management is there. Then there is the case tools, that is the computer aided software engineering tools are available. So various tools are available to help you help the development teams in the different levels, in the different phases of the software. So these tools are very much important these days. So they help to manage your whole product. Just wait. So this is the very important tool available. There are various tools available, not a single tool is available. Collectively we say it is a case tools, that is the computer aided software engineering tools. Then is the RMM, that is the risk mitigation, monitoring and the management. At this time you all have joined, so I will not repeat it again. And then is the reuse facility, that the reuse capability of your software. So what is the overview of today's lecture? That have you understood or not? Let me ask you one by one, some of you. So I allow you to unmute. So Navjot Kaur from CSE, please unmute yourself. Navjot Kaur from CSE. Navjot. So you are not present? Navjot Kaur?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So Navjot, what are the topics that we are going to cover today? Yes, Navjot.
Sir, can you please repeat the question?
What are the topics that we are going to cover today?
Sir,
Navjot, speak. I'm getting your cracking voice. Wait for a Maninder Madhu to please. उधरों आवाज नहीं आ रही, but please send Madhu madam. Yes, Navjot, tell me. So there is a problem from Navjot. His voice is cracking. So Opinder Singh from CSE, you unmute yourself. Opinder Singh.
Yes, sir.
Yes, your voice is clear. So, Pinder, what are the topics that we are going to cover today?
Sir, SCM, RMM,
R triple M. Okay. SCM.
RMM.
Then these are two topics. What two more?
So,
Or should I get aside from the board? Yes, recall. Only the four topics were there. Recall them. Here, everybody is listening. What I am saying, it is audible or?
Audible, sir.
Audible, audible. All is good. Please send Madhu madam. Hello. Yes, Apinder. You might have seen now two topics more.
case,
Case, yes. Case tools, and one more.
एक मिनट देखो.
Okay. Khushpreet Kaur, you unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Khushpreet.
Yes, sir.
You speak. What are the topics we are going to cover today?
Sir, first one is SCM and
Khushpreet,
then
speak
tools
a little bit loudly.
R triple M. SCM, then
Okay.
case tools, and
Okay.
then R triple M, and
Or
last one is REU.
okay. What is the full form of SCM?
The last one is REU.
What is the full form of SCM? One, all are joining late now. I will not allow anybody to join now. Yes, what is the full form of SCM, Khushpreet?
Sir, I have late joined, so I have not heard about the full form of SCM.
Narinder Pal, you unmute yourself. Narinder Pal, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good. Narendra, what is the full form of SCM?
सर सॉफ्टवेयर मैनेजमेंट और सर सी का नहीं पता सॉफ्टवेयर मैनेजमेंट है कुछ.
What is C then? Anybody wants to tell, please raise your hand.
सॉफ्टवेयर कॉन्फ़िगर मैनेजमेंट.
Okay, it is a software configuration management.
Okay.
Okay. And what is the full form of RMMM? So anybody wants to tell the full form of RMMM? Please raise your hand. Yes, Shaurya Sharma, you speak now.
सर गुड मॉर्निंग सर.
Good morning.
सर RMM की फुल फॉर्म है रिस्क मिटिगेटिंग मॉनिटरिंग मैनेजमेंट.
Okay, what is the meaning of mitigation?
सर टू चेक एंड टू रिजॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम.
No, there is some other meaning for mitigation. It is avoidance. So
Okay, sir.
let me start with the share my presentation or the talk for the today. So I will go with the today's presentation within 1 minute. So if anybody still have any doubt about what are the topics that I am going to cover today, he may raise hand and ask me. If anybody still have any doubt, that was the different topics we are going to. So student, this is actually, you can say, the second last lecture. I will require one more lecture, a very short more lecture. We will cover only two topics are left. The small topics are left. So in the next week, we will cover the whole syllabus. So what I will suggest this week also, you go through all the topics. I have given you one assignment or one topic that you have to do yourself from this chapter. That is the previous chapter. That is the formal reviews. What do you mean by review, and what is the different formal review techniques? So accept that you go through your whole syllabus and tell me if any topic is left. So from my side, I have covered all the topics. Only the last unit, which is the unit number 4, which is going on. From that unit, the 2 topics will be left now that I will be covering in a next Wednesday. So from my side, I have covered, and but you still have any doubt, or you have any, you can say, missed any topic. So you can confirm from me that no topic is missed, and each and every topic is covered in a syllabus. So first of all, this thing has to be, you can say, thing that everything 100% syllabus has been covered. Then you can tell me throughout the week if there any topic is left. So I will cover that also in the next Wednesday, because next Wednesday only 2 small topics will be there. So I will be there also, you can say, reviewing whatever what we have done up till now. And next, then whatever the time we will left, we will use it in revision and in a practicals. So though I will be sending some videos, but still I want that I should have a live interaction with you during your practicals also. So that will be covered in the coming weeks. So now I'm going to share the screen. So let us go with your this presentation. Madhu ma'am, please come here. So I will mute you all. Let me start. So we start with the first topic, that was the software configuration management. And in this, what we will be subtopics we will be using, that is what is the configuration management planning, then the what is change management, then what is version and release management, and then the case tools for configuration management. So it is also, you can say, a little bit you have to cram all the points one by one. So configuration management, yes, next slide. So the configuration management is the management of the system change to the software products. Whatever the system change to the software products are, how we have to manage those system changes so that your overall software products, the changes are amalgamated in your software products. So it is the art of identifying, very important line. So just go through it. So configuration management is the art of identifying, organizing, and controlling the modifications to the software being built by a programming team. So because change is the law of the nature, so time to time we have to bring the changes in a or modifications in a software product according to the demands, or according to some fault creeping. So we have to make some changes. We have to modify your software products according to the time. So how to control those modifications, that it should not have some side effects on other modules. If we are changing one module, then we have to see that other modules do not get affected, or vice versa also. If one change in one module needs a change in other module, then that change has also be brought in. So this is the overall controlling the modifications of the software, and it is done by the programming team. The goal is to maximize the productivity by minimizing the mistakes. The overall goal is optimizing your software product. So maximizing the productivity by minimizing the mistake, basically it goes for the optimizing. We have to optimize your software product. So SCM activities, some of the activities that are carried during the SCM, those activities are identify the change. First, we have to identify what change has to be brought in, so that if there is some problem in your software, so how this problem have to be solved. First of all, we have to understand that particular. Then we have to see to to solve this problem, what changes are needed in your product. Then only we can go for a optimization of the product. So identification of the change is very foremost step in the SEM activities. Then we have to control that particular change, that it should not have some cascaded ill effects. Means change in one module should not have a negative effect on another module. But if change in one module needs a change in another module, then that has to be also done. So these are known as the cascading effect, the effect of one on another. So we have to see where the cascading effect have to be brought in and where the cascading change has not to be brought in. So this is the second step, that is the control the change. Then ensure that change is being properly implemented. So we have to see whatever the change we have made in your software product. So after making changes, we have to run your product. Then we have to see these changes are implemented or not. And then we at the final step is report the changes to others who may have an interest. So all the persons, those who are interested, those who will be affected with this change must be brought into the notice that these changes have been made. Still students are joining. I will not now allow. So it is disturbing me. So next, new versions of the systems are created with the configuration management. So what are the different, you can say, what are the activities or what are the different situations where the changes are brought on, or what are the different ways we can bring out the changes. Suppose new version of the software systems are created as they change. So change, we want to make new functionalities. We have to give the different functionalities, add more functionalities to your software, then the change is required. So that is given by the help of the releasing the new version of your software system. So for different machines, so new version of the software systems are created as they change, like for different machines or operating system. If there is a change in a working platform or implementation platform, if your software product, then the change has to be brought in the software according to the compatibility issues of new machine or the new operating system. Then is, if you want to offer the new functionalities in your software product, then still change has to be made in and tailored for particular use requirement. In some customized user wants that this thing has to be happen in an ordered way, then that is, you have to tailor certain changes according to demand of that particular customer. So configuration management is concerned with managing evolving software systems. So whatever the different things that are coming in your software systems time to time, we have to manage all these things. We have to manage all these changes. So software configuration aims to control the cost and effort involved making. So what we have to control. So in the control, first of all, we have to control the cascading effects, ill effects, and we have to also make the control the cost and the effort involved in making changes. If the change requires the cost and the cost is very high and it is not affordable by the customer, then that change is not desired. If it is a you can say change in the functionality or offering the new functionality, but if the operating platform has to be changed, then you have to change it. Next. So the SCM process, what does it have? One is the identification of the object in a software, then the version control, then the change control, then configuration, the auditing, and the reporting. We will go through it one by one. Next. So configuration planning, it's not visible. Just wait. So configuration management planning. So all products of the software process may have to be managed. First of all, what we have to manage, what we have to control in the configuration management, we have to control the specifications, then we have to control the designs, then programs, then we have to test the data and user manuals also. So thousands of separate documents are generated for a large software system. So small change may bring changes in many documents if your software system is very large. So it is not an easy task. So the CM plan, the configuration management plan, what does it include? Yes, ma'am, next. The CM, it defines the types of documents to be managed and the document naming scheme. So different documents needs to be changed when you make the change in your software. So it defines who take the responsibility of the overall responsibility of the CM, that is the cause or configuration management procedures and creation of the baseline. So proper responsibility has to be given from the team members that who will take the charge of overall change, who will will be responsible for controlling the overall changes in your software product and all the related documents. So we have to define the policies for the change. It is not a easy task that you go readily and make a change. You have to define the policies that when, if anybody reports that change is needed, then policy has to be defined whether it has to be changed or not, and how it has to be changed, or we have to make a change, reflect the change in a new release or a new version. So this policy has to be defined, and it have to also define the configuration management record must be managed. So whatever the changes you have brought in, by whom, when the changes, which module was changed, so the proper record has to be put into account. It has to be maintained. So in a identification is very much important task. See what changes have to be make. So we have to identify the changes. So it is very important aspect of the CM. The short form of the configuration management short form is CM. So identification, what change has to be brought in. So it is very much difficult when your product is very large. So it, first of all, we have to make the changes and we have to see all the documents where this change has to be brought in to, you can say, enlighten that this change has been made. So wherever, suppose there is a module M1. So all the, and you want to make change in module M1. So all the documents in your software where the M1 was listed. So you have to make the changes in all those documents where the M1 name was reflecting. So it is very important thing. And if this module M1 is in a hierarchical scheme, that the module over this and it is the member of any hierarchy, then to reach to that module, so some upper hierarchy has to be changed. So it has to be also taken into account if there is a hierarchical scheme in a multi-level systems. So this is very tedious task when the module where the change has to be brought in, if it comes in certain, if it is present in particular hierarchy, because to reach to that particular module, suppose M1 is a module where you need a change. So if it is a simple module, you can directly go to M1, make a changes, and all the documents where M1 has been mentioned. M1 is mentioned here, M1 is mentioned here, and M1 is mentioned here. So you need to make changes in these documents. So it is very important, simple thing. But if your M1 is part of some hierarchy, suppose there is MA, there is member MB, MC, MD, and M1 is under MC. Then how to reach to this M1? So it sometimes it is needed to make the changes in M1. You have to deal with MA and MC because M1 module is in some hierarchy level. So this is very tedious task. And if the hierarchy level is like that, before M1 there are many levels, then it is very typical task. So it is the task which is has to be given responsibility to a particular team member or the special member of the team that who will take charge of overall changes that has to be brought in. Yes, next ma'am. So actually there is the database has to be prepared. That is known as the configuration database. So that database will have all the things in its record, that what identification you have done, what changes you have identified, what modules you are going to change, then how the change has been brought, then who has a particular version, what platform is required for this particular version, whatever the change you want to make, what versions are affected, means what different modules that are affected by the change to particular component. So all the things, whatever the one change, so whatever the effect it is having on another modules, you have to make a database and put everything in a record. Next. So it may be part of integrated environment. So your CM database implementation. So you have to implement after making the changes in the database. You have to implement those changes also. So there can be case tools which comes to your aid. They help you to make these particular changes and keep all the records. So these case tools may be integrated with this so that there is a close relationship between the case tools and the CM tools. So they work in, you can say, side by side manner, that is the configuration management tools and the computer aided software engineering tools. So more commonly the CM database is maintained separately, as this is the more cheapest. So what can we do? You can combine both the things or you can have a separate, but the simple thing is to be more flexible, CM database is maintained separately. Next. So software systems are subject to continual change request. Like if there is a request from the users, then you have to make the changes in the software. If developers think that certain changes are to be made because there is a problem in running the problem in the software, then the change has to be implemented. Or sometimes there is a competition from the market and you have to add new features to your software. Then you have to make the change in the software. So what are the different, you can say, situations where we need to change the software? Then is the change management is concerned with keeping managing of these changes and ensuring. So change management, there is a special topic in a configuration management, that is the change management. So it is concerned with keeping managing of these, how to manage these changes and how to ensure that these changes have been implemented also. So this is the most important part of your configuration management, that is the change. First was the identification, second is the change management. Yes, next ma'am. So this is the way. So you can go through this slide. So how the process of change is given, how first of all request comes, then we have to analyze that particular request, whether the change which is being requested, it is valid or not, it is feasible or not. After that only you accept the request of changing, or you may reject the request of changing. So this is the whole process. And if you accept the changes, then what has happened, you have to maintain all the changes, you have to make ensure and that all the changes are implemented and it has been put in records in the change management or the configuration management database. Next. So change request form is there. So it is not only one may just stand and say please change. So one who wants that there must be change either by the user, either by the developer, or either by the market evaluators. So that particular form has to be filled. Then only change request is forwarded, and then team sees whether this request is valid or not, or change has to be brought or not. Next. So there is the sample, you can say, change request form. So different other different companies, they have different type of samples of their particular change request form. So this is one of the sample. Next. So change tracking tools. So once we have to all, there are different tools available who keeps on overall track of the changes that has been made. So the major problem in change management is tracking the change status. So we have to see that if it was decided that this module 1 has to be changed, then we have to see all the different documents and all the different parts where the module M1 was there. So we have to make a track proper. We have to keep the track of proper track where the M1 is there, and we have to see that all the M1 where it resides, the changes have been brought in all those documents and all those particular modules where M1 was there. So this has to be taken care of and proper tracking system has to be there. So there are different tools which are available to track the proper changes, and proper reporting is also needed from the top level to the person who is there for making a change, and he has to report to the top level also that this change has been, because sometimes change is, you have the proper time duration is there, time limited. So you have to make the changes in particular time period. So if you make a change after that particular time period, then there is no need of that particular change. Next. So change control board. So there is not a simple one person needed with this. There is a proper board. There is a external committee, internal committee, organizational committee. Those who take into account, who make the decision, who make the total strategy, how to make the changes, how to control the changes in terms of cost and efficiency. So it is not a single person's. If a software is very large software, then a proper board is constituted that will go through the all the changes processes. Next. So version and so what is version and just it is not visible here. Let me see the topic. So it is version and release management. So what is difference between a version and what is release? So first of all, invent identification scheme for the system versions. So we have to see identify the scheme where we will decide that this has to be, these features has to be given in version 1 and this feature has to be given in version 2. So we have to identify all the schemes, all the modules, all the features, all the functionalities. So plan when new system version is to be produced, then ensure that version management procedures and tools are properly applied time to time, and plan and distribute new system releases. So we have to release that particular version at a particular moment. So but proper plan has to be made. If your product is, you have to launch your product in new versions, so proper planning, proper identification is needed. Next. So what is difference between version, variant and the release? So version, it is just go through this slide, very important slide. So version, it is an instance of a system which is functionally distinct in some way from other systems. So you can say just in the form of class and objects. So object is an instance of a class. So similarly, version is an instance of overall software. So it is one instance of a software. So where in one version there are some different functionalities and in another version there are some different functionalities. So it is an instance of a system which is functionally distinct or different in some way from other system instance. Means there may be difference in functionality in one version with respect to another version. So what is variant now? An instance of a system which is functionally identical, yet the functionality is the same but non-functionally distinct from other instances. So if it is, there is a difference between different instances on the basis of functionality, then it is known as version. But if the functionality is the same but it differs in some non-functional parameters, then it is known as the variant. And what is release? An instance of a system which is distributed to users outside of the development team, to the team members which are not included in a development team. Next. So version identification. So it is a procedures for version. There are different procedures to identify the different versions. So procedures for version identification should define an unambiguous way of identifying the components version. So there is, should not be any ambiguity in defining when and what versions are required, what are the functionalities which are to be given in one version, and what are the functionalities which are to be provided in another version. So three basic techniques for component identification is numbering of the version, then the what are the different attributes based identification, and change oriented identification. Just go through the slides. So this is numbering system where we give the different numbers to the different versions, v1, v1.1, v1.2, v2.1 and so on. And there is also in the attribute basis. Next. This is same about the numbering and their hierarchy can be also defined. Next. So attribute based changes where attributes can be associated with the version, or attributes are the characteristics which are, you can also say characteristics that are associated. So different versions can have different numbering also, or different versions can be given in the form of different attributes also. Like examples of attributes are date, creator, programming language used, customer, status, etc. So we can have a different version on the basis of these attributes also. Next. Then the change oriented, just ma'am, what is the topic? Change, last. So change oriented identification. So it integrates versions and the changes made to create these versions. So used for system rather than the components. And each proposed change has changed. It is same thing what we have already discussed earlier. Next. Just click on mouse. So release management. So how to release, how to report to the other member outside the development team that these changes are being there. So we have to make a release of that particular thing. So how to manage this particular release? So releases must incorporate changes posed on the system by errors discovered by users and by hardware changes. They must also incorporate new system functionality. So we have to release a document and we have to have should manage the proper planning when and how the release should be there. After release should always be there after the proper changes has been done. So before making the changes, if the changes are not done and you are just releasing that particular document, then it is of no use. So it will bring a bad name to your product. Next. Now, what are the case tools which are helpful in a configuration management? So configuration management processes are standardized and involve applying predefined procedures. So some of the procedures are predefined. If that particular change has already been brought in some particular products, so it is predefined. So you have not to set the new procedures for that. And large amounts of data must be managed. So case tools help us, support us for the process of the configuration management. That is, case is the basically a computer aided software engineering tools that support for the configuration management, and it is very much essential when your product is very large. So mature case tools to support configuration management are available, ranging from standalone tools to integrated configuration management workbenches. So we'll see what are the different types of case tools available in the next topic, that is the case tools. Next. So come to the case tools, that is the computer aided software engineering. So these case tools provide support role for the configuration management whenever we want to make the changes. So case tool comes and as a aid to help in a configuration management, and it helps in maintaining your document, or sorry, maintaining your software product. So case tools help in software development and the maintenance. So case is much talked about topic in a software industries nowadays, because it is your computer system itself, it helps to make particular changes or maintain your software product. Next. So case tool is a generic term. It is not a specific term. It is a term which is used in general. It denotes any form of automated support for a software engineering. So one thing which is done automatically with the help of any software, that comes under the, that particular thing comes under the case tools. So there are different types of tools, different categories of tools, and they are used at different levels or different types of changes. In a more restrictive sense, a case tool automates some software development activity, some of the activity during the development of the software, and even during the change management of the software. They help in, they give their support in the development as well as in the change management activity. Next, or configuration management activity. Some case tools that assist in phase related tasks. So there are phase tools which help you in a specification of your product, structure analysis, design phase, coding phase, and testing phase. So there are different types of case tools available which are used in different phases of your software development life cycle. So some other tools are which are not you can say categorized into a particular phases, but still they help in different activities of your software development. Like some tools, case tools are available for managing your project and managing in the terms of project management and the configuration management. Next. So what is the objective of the case? That is to increase the productivity and to help produce better quality software at the lowest cost. So in general, you can say, so the case tools help to optimize. So it is used as a optimizing tools for your software product. Next. So what is the case environment? Although individual case tools are useful, but nowadays what happens, there is a collection of the case tools and they are used in a group. So proper, you can say individually also different case tools are available. You can make them use individually also, but nowadays proper setup is integrated tools are available, which are known as the integrated case tools. So they have the true power when they are used in an integrated manner. Next. So tools covering different stages of life cycle share information, because there are certain things we have seen during the phase development, that the output of the one phase is the input to the another phase. So that thing has to be taken into account. So there are the tools which cover the different stages of the life cycle, where the information has to be shared from one phase to the another. So in that case, the integrated case tools are more usable than the individual case tools. Next. So there is a central repository also, which is known as the data dictionary. So it contains definitions of all the composite and the elementary data items. And through this repository, all the case tools are share information. Those all the integrated case tools, they share the information, and they share the info. They get the information from the central repository, which is known as the data dictionary. Next. So just go through this slide. I will wait here. So central repository, what are different tools? What are the different things which are, or what are the different activities or the phases that are associated, and they share the information in the central repository. Ma'am, please admit the student who is in waiting room. So these are the different phases which share the information, and they provide the information to the central repository that is shared between the different phases in the by the case tools. So you can go through this. So benefits of case, now you know what are the benefits of the case tool. So they help in cost saving through all developmental phases, and they are what they can save up to 30 to 40% of money. Next. So they also leads to improvement in the quality. They becomes easy to iterate because the same tool is there, and it is used to use in different iterations of a software development phases. So the due to this, the chances of human error gets reduced because it is an automated thing, and case tools help produce higher quality and consistent document. So means overall optimization. So I'm using the word optimization. So optimization is the word which takes into a less effort, less cost, and give you the good efficiency and the good result or the better output. Next. So there is also prototyping support given by the case tools. So different types of support that case tools give you. One is the prototyping declaration support, which is given in terms of programming. So it is also used in graphical user interface development and all the editors which we have. So all the prototyping which has to be done, it is automatically done by the case tools, and you have to only write the code in between. So whatever has to be written, whatever to be prototyping declaration has to be made, it is automatically made by the case tools. Next. So user should be allowed to define data entry forms, so menus. So in user interface design, so what you have to design, you have to design the forms, you have to design the menus, and you have to define the different types of controls. So case tool have to prototype or declare all these particular tools. Next. Structured analysis and designing. In this phase, how case tool help you? So support some standard structured analysis and design techniques. They support easy creation of analysis and design diagrams, and it also provide navigation through different levels of design and analysis diagrams. So during the structured analysis and designing phase, these are the support, these are the points where the case tools help you or support you. Next. And it also helps in completeness and consistency, checking that nothing is left and all the thing in a matched manner is there. And it should also disallow inconsistent operations. If by the mistake I am doing something and it is inconsistent, so it keeps a check on that also during the structured analysis and the design phase. Next. So code generation, it also helps you in a code generation. So it gives you the templates. All the things are given in a templates, and you have to only write the particular code. So it helps you in that manner also. It generates the skeletons, you can say. You can say in Java and all that, the skeleton is provided in the while writing the code, and you have to only write 1 or 2 statements that you want to execute, but the overall structure is already given by the case tools. So that is known as the skeleton. So it also support unit testing like static and dynamic program analysis of program. So it generates reports in a ASCII format, and it can be useful in test plan document. So what are the desirable features from any case tool? That the tool should work satisfactorily, that many users can, it should support the multi-user. So it should have a multi-user support. Then your tool should be windowing interface, that should have a proper interacting capacity with the user that is using that particular case tool. So it should enable the user to see more than one diagram at a time. Means multiple window support should be there, and it should give you the facility to navigate or switching from one part of the your product to the another part. It should also give you the support in documentation. So it should be able to incorporate text and diagram from the central repository. We have already shared what is the central repository, and it should help in producing up-to-date documentation. Some more desirable features, or what are the different features of the case tool? So it should integrate with commercially available desktop publishing packages, and like DTP packages in standard formats, and such as PostScript. So it should provide you the support in each and every aspect of your design phase. And it should also help you in the non-functionality phases like project management and the configuration management, such as what is the estimated task duration. It should calculate all the things, and it should also tell you, are you lagging behind with the given duration or not. We have done the different types of parts as Gantt chart. So these all now the tools are available which help you to produce these all types of charts and give you the proper reporting in terms of time and duration. Sorry. So it should also allow you to exchange the information with the other components or the other products of the same system, and so that the reusability of a design can be carried out. So this is the main thing in the external interface. So data dictionary provide a special role in this phase, a programming interface to access the information and all the things. Next. So reverse engineering support. What is reverse engineering? What is re-engineering? We have already done in the previous chapter. So case tools also give us support in a reverse engineering phase, that we have to check what are the faults. We have to start from the coding, and then we have to move to the design. Then we have to move to the specification. So in the reverse order, so it has go through 3 phases, that is the coding phase, design phase, and specification phase. So case tools give you assistance in that also. So toward the next generation of case tools, so an important feature of next generation case tools, what is desired from the next generation case tools, that is it should be able to support any methodology, and it should be a good administrator, you can say, who would require or tailor the case environment to a particular matter. So tailor means according to your need, you can customize this. So that is known as the tailoring. Why the tailor word? Tailor word is used when we need a customized use of anything, then we say that you have to tailor it. Next. So future case tools would aesthetically and automatically lay out the diagram. So it can do all the things automatically. That is what is required from the future generation case tools. So this is about the case tools. Next. So we have covered the 2 topics. One was the SCM, that is the system configuration management, and next is the case tools. Now is the risk mitigation monitoring and management. So what is this that you know? So I will not go through what is risk, what is the definition of the risk, but what is RMM? So one, there is a risk. So how we should deal with that particular risk. This is main topic. What is risk? What is fault? What is error? What is failure? This you all know, and we have already discussed this thing. So in this slide presentation on this topic, I will only tell you about the mitigation, monitoring, and management. How to mitigate the risk means how to avoid the risk. If we should not allow actually the risk to come, but that is the avoidance. We should avoid the risk. But if it creeps on, it comes, then we have to monitor it, and we have to monitor, and we have to also manage that particular risk that have entered our system. Next. So what is risk? Risk provide you the possible loss. So risk is, it is not what has happened, but what is the possibility of happening something which is not desirable. That is known as the risk. So what is the possibility of happening any event which is not desirable to your software? That is known as risk. So what is risk? You know now. Next is we should make all the efforts so that risk should not come into our system. So we should make our we should develop our software in such a manner that it should be a foolproof, that no risk should be there. So efforts made in order to reduce, or effort made in order to avoid that risk should not enter our system, that thing is known as mitigation. And what is monitoring? A sort of careful check under observe. We have to observe throughout our all the processes. We have to observe all the phases, all the processes which are required in a software development, so that there should not be any risk. So we have to make a proper observation. And management is, if there if risk comes upon, then how to deal with that particular risk, how to cope with that particular risk, how to, you can say, put an efforts that this should go away from our system that has come into our thing. So that is, if the possibility, actually it was actually the possibility, but it, that particular loss has happened. Now how to come out of that particular loss, that is known as a coping or dealing. So what is an effective strategy to tackle the risk? So it must consider the three issues. These are, first is avoidable. We should first of all make all the efforts to avoid the risk. That is the mitigation. Second is, if we should keep on monitoring, we should keep on observing all the phases that there is no risk. One is the one method that we should avoid. And how can we avoid? We can continuously monitor. And the second thing is, if it is not avoidable, some risks are not avoidable because it depends upon some external factors. You can take care of the internal factors that you can manage, but there are some factors where you cannot manage. Then suppose there is, I'm talking about the rainy season comes here. So what you can do, you, if your roof is leaking, so before coming of the rainy season, you can get your roof repaired. So that is, first of all, you have monitored throughout all the your, you can say, place or your building, and you have pointed out these areas where the leakage of water is there. So if rainy season is coming to, so you get it repaired. So this is monitoring and the mitigation. You have avoiding that the water leakage should not come here. But what if there is a flood? Then it is a though you cannot control, it is unavoidable. Then the water pour into all the buildings of that particular city. So then we should have in unavoidable, then we have to manage the things, how we have to see the disaster, how to manage the disaster. So whatever the disaster management task is there by the our PM, so it is in the second case, that is, if that particular risk is unavoidable, it will come, whatever you may do, then how to come out, how to cope, how to deal with that particular situation, that comes under the risk management. So just you go through this slide. I will stop here. So what are the different types of risk? That is the high turnover. So nobody, it is one type of risk. Nobody has seen as many as employees and CEOs coming in and going as you have beginnings, how long you have. So CEO or the main, you can say, authority of a company. So if any company you see, with very short duration of time, the main CEO is coming in a country and new CEO is coming and that old one is going on. So your company is in risk then. So I've been here for 3 months, sir. So it is already thing because you cannot have a interaction with, if you just having the interaction, you are just building the relation with somebody, that person is changed. So actually this should not be there, and it is one of the factors of the risk that your company or your whole process is in a risk. So these are the strategy or plan for reducing the staff turnover. So we are talking about one risk here, that is the staff turnover. So you can go through how to reduce that. What is the strategy or plan for reducing the staff turnover? So similarly, you can give any example of, you can put upon any risk and you can give a plan or the strategy how to avoid mitigate that particular risk. So it is one of the example. I will not, or you can say explain this example. So I will stop here. You can go through this. So this is one of the example of mitigating or avoiding a risk. And that example is the staff turnover. How to reduce the staff turnover. So I stop here for half a minute. You go through this. So similarly, you can quote different examples, different situations, and you can give the strategy or the plan how you can avoid that particular situation. So I stop here for 30 seconds. Next, we will go. So next is risk monitoring, that is the tracking. So check task of the project. So it is the task of the project manager to continuously check the different phases of your software development and see where there is the chances of point. What are the points where the risk can come into your system? So we have to see that if there are different teams are there, so we have to see which team is pressurized. So you have to balance the staff, you have to share the load. So this is all done when we properly monitor our software development phases, different parts of your software. So we have to see at this particular moment, this team is free and this team is overburdened, then we should uh, uh, place a person from this team to this team. So the load sharing should be there, and it can only be done by the project manager who keeps on monitoring, who keeps on tracking the different phases of your software project. So monitoring is very much important. So if this is done, then the team is, you can say, proper gelling is there between a team. So it is the role of the team leader actually to make, to have a proper track on your whatever the component or whatever the, you can say, product is in his hand, what is the process is in hand. So you have to see, and it also helps in gelling the team members also. So it has been bringing the interrelation relationships between the different team members. So actually there is the office politics going on. So your leader has to monitor all the things that nothing wrong goes against your system. So potential problems with the compensation and the benefits, salary not worthing. So the staffs are talking that salary is not good, and then time to time he should ask the, have a talk with the staff about their problems, their salaries, and put this thing to the higher management, and proper settlement has to be done. So this is all done in the tracking. We have to monitor what are the different risks that can come into your system. So these are some of the examples of the monitoring. Then the risk management, that is dealing. If that loss, that possibility that we are saying that there is a possibility, so risk is a possibility, but now it is there. Now it is not a possibility. It has came into your system. Then how to deal with it? That comes under the risk management or the dealing with the risk. So there are some, you can say, steps, some safety measures are there. So it is not necessary that you should write this all only. It is up to you. You can give any example that this risk come into the your system. This is the problem that has creep into the system. Now you give the strategy to come out of that particular problem. So it is up to you to give the code different examples in a risk mitigation, in a risk monitoring, and the risk management. What you have to understand, that is what is difference between the mitigation or the avoidance. Second is what is monitoring, who does the monitoring. So you have to give some example, you have to quote some example, and after quoting the example, you have to give some strategy also for that particular thing. Either it is a mitigation, either it is a monitoring, or either it is a management. So this thing I leave up to you. It is you have to give the different types of examples, but you have to understand the difference between the three things. So what is the proper RMMM plan? So the plan may be part of the software development plan and may take any following forms like separate document. You can have a different RMM for the RMM plan. You can have a separate document. You can have a different information sheets to this information sheets, and you have to assess whether the predicted risks do occur or not. You have to ensure that risk aversion steps, means divergence steps, are defined for the risk are being properly applied, and you have to collect the information that can be used for the future risk analysis. So this is the proper planning has to be done. Even as I already told you, our PM also have a national disaster plan. So if there is some earthquake, then there is some floods are there or tsunami is there. So proper team has been developed, proper structure has been defined, proper responsibility has been taken. So whenever some these natural disasters comes into place, like cyclones keep on coming, so how to rescue the different persons from the different parts of the country. So this all has to be planned. So it is a special task in overall development or planning of the your country. Similarly, it is the planning of your particular software product. So it is an important task of the, or you can say one of the important, it is not the phase of the development, but is the important part of your development part, or that is the risk management monitoring, mitigation monitoring and management plan. So we come to the last topic of today's, that is known as the software reuse. So I will stop here. I will take a breath for 2 minutes. So you can overview what we have done up till now. So I will just stop for 2 minutes. So you can also take a rest for 2 minutes. So you can go through yourself that what we have done today. So after 2-3 minute break, I will continue with the last topic of the day, that is known as the software reuse. So anybody wants to ask about 3 topics that we have covered up till now today? Then I will go with the last topic of the day, that is the software reuse. Yes. All are welcome to ask any question about the 3 topics, that is SCM, RMM and case tools. If you want to ask anything, so you can review what we have done. And if any question is in your mind, if any doubt is there, you can ask me. Nancy, you unmute yourself. Nancy. Yes, Ritika.
Sir, can you repeat the change management process? There was a diagram of this.
Let me share the screen again. You tell me if we stop there.
Yes, sir. So last one.
This one.
Yes, sir.
So there, just see, first of all, how we have to be managed. First of all, it is not the simple thing of changing. First request change by completing a change request form. So you have to fill the form either by the user, either by one of the member of the development team, or any sales manager, because whatever change it is, if it is a competitive change, that then sales team, the marketing team notice that particular change, because they are in a market and they see that the different companies giving the same product, so some changes have been, some functionalities has been given, offered by that particular company. So that has to be noticed by the marketing and the sales team. So these are the three different ways where who can put the request. One is the user, one is the, you can say, market or the sales manager, managing team, and or any member of your development team. So first of all, request form has to be given. Then we have to analyze the change request, because we have seen that the change board is developed in one of the side. You have seen proper board is there constituted that will look
Yes, sir.
into whether the change, and they have to see, they will accept the change or they have to reject the change. So therefore they have to analyze that particular change, and they have to see whether that change is valid or not. Clearly,
Yes, sir.
they will assess how the change might be implemented, first of all, and what cost will be there, it will bring some benefit or not. So all the assessing, all the analysis has to be done. First of all, in the
Okay.
first level, who is making the request, it is done by first team. Then if they see that it is valid, then they put they forward the request to the higher management, that is the board. Suppose some you student want some change, okay, you ask that change to your class teacher. Clear?
Yes, sir.
First of all, class teacher himself will see whether your request is valid or not.
Not.
Okay, whether it will be benefited to all of you, or it is only benefited to particular some of the members of your class. So all different types of, they have to see that request from the different angles, whether it is a feasible or viable or not. So at the first level, the decision will be taken by your class teacher itself. Then if your class teacher sees it is justified request by the student, then what it will go and put to forward that request to your HOD. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Then HOD will also discuss that if I make a change for this particular class, then other classes will get affected or not, or my department will get affected. Your teacher is looking that change only from your class point of view, but the HOD
Yes, sir.
will look that change how it will affect the overall department. Then it will then the HOD will make a decision whether that change should be allowed or not.
Not.
Then if he feels that it is good, then to the he will put the request to the principal. Clear? So
Yes,
these
sir.
are the different levels. And in the last, if the principal says that it is good, it will not make any changes, it will be good for the whole college, not a particular CSE department, but it is valid for all the department. और क्योंकि आज मैं CSE को अलाउ कर दूंगा तो दूसरे डिपार्टमेंट भी मुझे बोलेंगे, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
तो वो वहां पे कोई फर्क तो नहीं पड़ेगा. तो ऐसी ये डिफरेंट लेवल्स होते हैं वेयर द वैलिडिटी or the feasibility or the viability of the change is seen. Clear? If it is accepted at all the levels, yes कि हमें चेंज करिए, और मैं चेयरमैन सर भी मान लेते हैं कि हाँ चेंज कर दे, then we come to actual process of changing. Then we see कि अब चेंज के लिए मुझे क्या क्या किसको आगे रिक्वेस्ट, अगर वो चेंज आपकी कुछ बसों के रिलेटेड था, क्लियर, तो
Yes, sir.
वो चेंज वो देखेंगे कि ट्रांसपोर्टेशन डिपार्टमेंट को रिक्वेस्ट भेजनी है, कैसे भेजनी है, तो फिर हम आगे वो चीज वो सारा प्रोसेस चेंज करेंगे. फिर उसके साथ ये भी देखेंगे कि इस चेंज करने के बाद कहीं रूट बढ़ लेगा, तो बच्चों के ज्यादा रूट होंगे तो फीस, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन फीस बढ़ानी है कि नहीं. तो ये कॉस्ट फैक्टर भी फिर ऐसे आ जाते हैं. सो वट एवर द चेंजेस इट इन्वॉल्व समटाइम द कॉस्ट फैक्टर ऑल्सो. क्लियर? तो ये सभी चीजों पे हम डिसाइड करके एंड में फाइनली हम फिर पहले रिजेक्ट करते हैं कि एक्सेप्ट करना है या रिजेक्ट करना है. Clear?
Okay. Yes, sir.
So means if that change is beneficial to the whole system and it is not making any loss to the system in any aspect, then the change is accepted. Clear? But if the change is beneficial to some parts of your system and it is not beneficial or making loss to the another part of your system, then the change is not accepted. It is it is rejected, the request for the change. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So therefore, that particular board is developed, the control board is developed. So because one at the, if the change, if the decision is made taken by the HOD, so that decision will only take into account only the CSE department, but not other departments. Clear? But the board constituted at the college level, it will see the whole, that change has to be, you can be swallowed by the whole college or from by the management or not. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now understood?
Yes, sir.
If
Thank you, sir.
anybody else wants to ask. So now I start with the last you can topic of the day. It is very simple topic, that is the reuse. So I directly move to the reuse. So just wait, Madhu madam, just come. So I start with the last topic of the day, that is the software reuse. So introduction, what is reuse? I have already told during the, you can say, overview of the chapter or overview of the 4 topics of today's. So what is the software reuse? So software is becoming very expensive these days. We have also seen, which is one of the cases of the software crisis, where the cost of hardware is getting less and the cost of software is getting higher and higher. So the best possible way to cut this particular expensiveness, it is that if we can make reduce the cost, if we can start reusing some parts or some modules of the previously made software, and that can be reused in the upcoming software. So that is the important thing. And the next is, another thing is, there is, I will be doing the next topic in the next lecture also, component based software engineering. So component based develop, where components are made separately, we are just assembling those components, we are making reuse of those components. So reusing is one of the important aspects where you can reduce the cost of your software. So its advantages are, it reduces the number of defects, because if that particular module is tested in the product at present, then same module is sorry, I will see, the camera is not there. So if particular module you have already used in one product, so you are making use of that particular module in another product. But in the first product, it has gone through all the phases, all the defects have been removed. So it will work properly. It will have only, you can say, cosmetic changes are required in another product. So it will have reduced number of defects, because standard and well tested components are being reused. It has been already used earlier and now you are reusing. And it will also reduce your development time, because first time that module was made, it took a time for the development of that particular module. But the second time, you are not developing the module from the scratch, you are just making the reuse. And if any change is needed in that particular module in the newer product, then that changes only the cosmetic changes. So what can be reused? So you can reuse the any component of any phase, like specification phase, design phase, code phase, then the testing phase. So at the most abstract level, knowledge. So basically the knowledge is used. Just wait. Madhu ma'am, please come. So any component of different phases of your software development life cycle, those can be reused. It is not that you can only use the components of a particular phase. You can make use of the components of the different phases. Next. So why almost no software use so far up till now? Why we were not making use of this? You can say feature of reusing or making use reusing these different modules, because there was lack of knowledge and the industries was not open. So now the industries are open. They are ready to share the information from one product to another product, one process to another process, or even one company to the another company. Now you see a car is being made, but car is the tires is not made by the same company. So the tires are made by some another company. The inner electronic system is developed by another company. So they recollect. It is also an example of the component based modeling also, and it can also be used, put it as an example of the reusability also. So now you can say the change, there is change in working. So everything is become open now. You can even see in your software industries, the open source software are used and they are floated in a net. Anybody can make use of that. And that is the best example of the reusability. So what happens earlier, engineers were working, industry often have a frustrated feeling and they were not ready to share their the things which they developed with the other partner or the another company or other team members. So that was the main reason. But now the system has changed. Now the current system is similar to last few systems they have already built. So everything is built from a scratch. So current system is behind the schedule. So because earlier there was no time limit in this when, and there was no competition in the market. Now there is a competition in the market and everything is a time bound. So in that particular time you have to do all the things. So it is better to make reuse the things that you have already used earlier also. So time limitness is one of the important factor, and which was not earlier. So earlier the things were not so particular time bound and the competition was not in the market. But now the change is very fast. So as the change is very fast, so you have to cope up with situations. So best thing is making reuse of the different components that you have already built upon. Next. So a major problem of a reuse up till now was the creation of components reusable in different applications. So other than the applications for which they were originally designed, earlier what happened, components were designed in a particular manner and they were only suited to the particular product only or the particular phase also. But now there is a change in developing the thing. While developing a thing, we keep in mind that we should make a product in a such a flexible way that it can be reused in a coming products also. Next. So another complaint earlier was, in spite of having software components available for reuse, programmers have preferred to create their own. Earlier, this was earlier. They all wanted that they should create their own. They should develop all the things by own. But nowadays, it is not the thing. Just I have given the example of the car. Earlier, many car companies, they were making all the things by themselves. But now they are just they are making the reuse technology into the account. They bring the engine from some company, they bring the tire from some company, they bring the electronic system of a car from some company, they get it assembled. So it is also example of the component based development. So that is also an example of the reusability also. So now this thing has been adapted. Earlier this feature was not adapted. This you can say mindness was not adapted in the market, but now this has been adapted. And the main reason is the change is very fast nowadays, and the requirement and change is already the time bound. If you are lagging in time, then you have lost everything. So this is the main factor nowadays. Next. So basically you can the software user component creation, component indexing, searching, understanding, adaptation, repository maintenance. These are the different things that can be you can say reuse, or what are the different issues in a software reuse. One is the component creation, that you have to create everything from the scratch or you make a reuse. Then the indexing of the component, the searching, you have to search what can be reused and what cannot be reused. You have to understand this thing and you have to adapt to the current situation. And you have to, if you adapt to the current situation, then you are very open to the reuse. And you have to maintain all the repository, all the documentation, and from there you can see what can be reused or what cannot be reused. Next. So basic issues is, first of all, component creation, that is identify reusable components. First of all, we have to identify what components can be reused and what cannot be reused. We should be very much clear about this thing. Then only we can make the decision. Then is the indexing classification of the reusable components. So how you have to classify the components that are, there are different methods of classification. So this is not in the syllabus, but classification is very much important. Then so that they can be easily cited. If you classify, you arrange, you organize the items in a different categories, then you can very easily reuse. Just you go to the market in the malls, so you see how properly they have organized the different items. So all the eatables or the edibles are arranged in one stack, all other cosmetic are arranged in another stack. So this is the way of classification or the organizing the item. Similarly, different components of your software, you can organize or classify them, and you can make a proper indexing of that, so that it can be easily searched when you want to make them reuse. Next. So searching very important. So search for the right components in the database of a components. So you have to maintain the database, that is the repository have to be maintained, because maintenance of repository also helps in cross phases reusing. So it requires a proper method to describe the components. Next. Understanding is very important to decide whether we can use some component or not, and if we can use, then how to use, what are the best way of using, what is the best time of using, what is the best manner is of using. So the precise and complete information is there, then you can have a proper understanding that whether you have to use a component, and if yes, then how to reuse that particular component. Next. Adaptation is also something you have to, because if you sometime this component has to be used in some another environment, so some cosmetic changes have to be there, so some adjustment has to be done. That is known as the adaptation. A selected component may not exactly fit the problem at the hand, so it has to be taken from one environment to the another, so proper changes has to be made according to the environment or the compatibility issues. So tinkering with the code is not satisfactory. So in any case, justified only with thoroughly. So what the basic thing in behind this slide is, so if there is environment one and there is environment two. So any module from environment one has to be reused in environment two, then adaptation is needed. So some cosmetic changes are needed so that it can be reused in environment two. Then the proper repository maintenance is required, that is entering of the component that is being used, that has been reused, where it was used earlier, where is being used now, what cosmetic changes you have brought, in which manner you are using, at what time you are reusing. So proper record should be maintained, and that is known as the repository maintenance. And you have to track the faulty components also, and you have to discard them. You have to see what are the new applications that has been emerged by making the reusability. So older application become obsolete, components might need. So some applications are there. So you want to throw that component, but even that application, you will not throw the whole application. So you will search the component that can be reused. आपके पास घर में कुछ है, तो you want to throw it, तो उनमें से कुछ component आप निकाल सकते हो जो आप further use कर सकते हो. So that is important thing. So what is the possible different approaches? First of all is introduce building block approach into the production process. So you have to identify the reusable components after development finishes, and you have to enhance the whole overall authority of your company or your process. They should enhance the reusability of the identified reusable components. So in nowadays, so it is the one of the important thing, reusability is the cost cutting. When we say about the cost cutting, तो आप देखते हो कि आप कैसे उसको रीयूज कर सकते हो. Same thing can be used by the different. Suppose they are two brother and sister, you have to see how you can make use of the same laptop rather than purchasing two laptops. So this is the thing making. So this is a best method of cost cutting. Next. So for this, domain analysis is needed. So one aim is we have to, if we have a proper analysis knowledge of what is the domain of this particular component, this component is, what is the range, what is the domain in which this component can be reused, then only we can decide whether this can be used in this environment or not. if the domain is not analyzed properly of any particular component, then you cannot decide whether it can be reused or not. And second, you cannot decide it can be reused in what different environment. Suppose there is a component C, a C1, which is present in environment C, environment 1. So you want to know that this can be used in environment 2 or not, in product, in any other new product or not. It is only possible if you have a proper domain knowledge or working, or domain knowledge means all the, you can say, knowledge which is required for that particular component. Then only you can decide whether it can be reused or not. Next. So if you have that particular domain knowledge or analysis you do, then you can very easily identify that this component can be reused and this component can be reused in a such environment. So this is same about reuse domain. So you have to see the domain. So what are the different aspects? What are the areas where this component can be reused in the different environment? So we have to see the characteristics. What are the features of that particular component? Next one. So a domain is shared understanding of some community. So we have to, domain is what is the different aspect, what is the range, what is the area. So you know about the domain. So what technical knowledge of some problem area. So you have to see the characterize different notations, different characters, different coherence, and examples of domain are accounting software, banking software. So on the basis of domains or ranges or the areas, you can categorize or you can classify your softwares like accounting software, banking software, business presentation softwares. And then is the one thing more in a domain is, so you have to become familiar with the vocabulary of that particular domain. That very much important and is the job of, you can say, expert team and the domain development team. So vocabulary, what vocabulary is being used in particular area or in a particular, you can say, company or in a particular process. So it requires months of interaction with the experts, because different naming are there in different companies if they do not follow some standardized. So it is therefore it is said that we should go for the standardization. So if we go for the standardization, then the same, you can say, vocabulary is being used. If we do not go for the standardization, then different companies, different, they make their own vocabulary. So this is about the software use and the today's 4 topics. So again, I will see what are the top 4 topics that we have done. First was the SCM, then the case tools, then the RMMM, and the reuse. So you have to go through again, and we are running short of time. So now it is time for the poll. So without wasting time, I will go for a poll now. So just go through the poll now, all of you. I will stop sharing the screen now. And I will go for a poll. Let me see, all are muted. So be fast. There is a first poll in front of you. So you have to be a little bit fast today. I will only allow 2 minutes for one poll. I will not give more time than 2 minutes for one poll. So it is near half the time is over and only 8 students have polled up till now. 10. The first question is, Dash is the management of the system change to software products. And second question in SCM, the products of the software process may have to be managed are. So only 40 students have polled up till now from 51 students. Be fast. So I'm going to end this poll now. 3 students still left. Be fast. Only 5 seconds more I will provide. So answer for the first question was configuration management. And for the second question, the answer is all of the above. And 98% you have given the right answer. So it's a good attempt by you. Go for a second poll. So again, I provide 2 minutes to attempt this poll. So just lock your answers. Be fast. None of you have logged up till now. So half the time is over and only 10 have attempted this poll. So be fast. Thirty-four out of 50. 37 out of 50. More 15 seconds left and students, 7 students are left now. Be hurry, be in hurry little bit. I'm going to end the poll now. So see the result. So answer for the first question is both of above, and for the second is a Persian, because there is a change in functionality. If there is not change in a functionality, but in a non-functional component, then it will have been the variant. Next poll. So don't get confused. All the, you can say, full form are matching. So very deliberately just see what is the proper matching. So 10 students still left. Be fast now. Mm. See the answer. The answer is computer software engineering, and for the second, the answer is the both of the above. Next poll. So in the first, you have to see the proper sequence of RMM, RMM. So it is very simple. Thirty of you have attempted. Now 34. Six students still left. 5 left now. So more 5 seconds I will give, and 3 students left now to lock their answers. So this is poll number 4, and now I will go for a poll, next poll. Very simple question, very simple question. And only 1 minute will be given. What are the advantages of reuse? So 15 seconds left, and still 13 students are there who have not given answer. Be fast. Three students left. I'm going to end the poll. So the answer is both of the above. So answer is both of the above. So student, this is all for today. So we have done the 4 topics again. I will say SCM, then the case tools, then the RMM, and the reuse. So you go through all these topics again. I have uploaded this presentation in your ERP also. You go through it. There it will be little bit more number of slides. So in that the thing that I have, the presentation that I have uploaded. So you can go through this. If you have any doubt, you can ask me anytime. You can give me a questions in your WhatsApp group, or either you can call me. So it is up to you. But the main thing is you have to go through all these topics again and again, because there were many small little things and you have to take care of all the things. So it is all for today. So have a good day.